All right. Here we are.
We're rolling again. Happy Ice Day.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I mean,
It's nasty out there.
it's a little slick. The trees look cool. They have like little icicles hanging all over them.
It's pretty dangerous out there, though, to be honest.
Yeah, the sidewalks look deadly. The roads are pretty good, but the sidewalks, I saw a couple people slipping and sliding.
It's probably me.
Yeah. Just put your skates on to go to the gym.
I felt like a young Bambi earlier today.
It's all downhill from here. You could just put your skates on and just
That was the problem.
cruise on the way home. Or just in general.
Just in general, I think. It was okay when it was level, but whenever there was slopes, it was like, here we go.
Yeah. We're shutting everything down. Western's done for the afternoon.
Western is too.
Yeah. Sent everyone home. As of 12:30, everything was canceled.
Never heard of
Which
that
turns
before.
into a bit of a melee when they send everyone home at the same time. I heard the bus situation. Getting on a bus and getting out of there, the traffic was
Be
pretty
gone
crazy.
show.
Yeah. But, oh well. At least everybody be home safe before it starts.
Yeah, all the public schools and high schools. Apparently, it's like you would have went to school in Dorchester. You probably had, I would imagine you'd have lots of snow days there, wouldn't you? Like being as a lot of the school populations from the country.
Yeah. Yeah, at that time they were doing a lot of delays. They don't even do delays anymore, do they? The 2-hour bus delay thing?
Don't they? I don't know. I had a lot of those too.
Yeah,
That was
we
a
got a
big
lot of
thing.
those.
That was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. So you get your 2-hour delay and then you just sit
Yeah.
and wait for the news that they're gonna cancel them.
Yeah. Who was I talking to earlier today? I don't remember who it was. Someone who went to school, like their whole quote unquote career in London. They said they maybe had a total of like 4 snow days, but I remember there'd be weeks where we would have like 3 or 4 in a row in
Yeah.
Mitchell.
Yeah. I was close enough that I could just walk to the school, and most of the time they left it open. We just played basketball or floor hockey or stuff in the gym. It was the best. It was so fun.
So we're going to talk about a few open things today, but I think there's some things that they can apply to several other things too, not just the open. So we'll talk about like some recovery.
Yeah.
So those can be applied to anything, any sport, any competition. And then we will, I guess there's a few open specifics, like big one is like how to approach the open if you're kind of in between like scaled or RX in terms of workouts. And then we'll see where that takes us.
That's probably what, like, coaching during the open, especially during an open workout, that's probably what you spend 90% of your time doing is troubleshooting those questions.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be good to get into that a little bit. And when we talk about it, just remember it's going to be on a workout to workout basis. We're just going to go off of experience for that. I did see, positive note, we were talking about the announcements last episode. It looks like CrossFit has just offloaded that. So they're putting it onto some affiliates and then also some sanctional organizers to take over that. So they're going to release their workouts and then have people just kind of step up week to week. May even be multiple announcements at that point, right? Like, for example, the Brazil Championships, maybe we'll do one with athletes from Brazil doing a showdown, or from the States, from Australia. Like, there could be multiple things to watch each week. So, I mean, everything always works out.
Yeah, I
always
saw
works
that
out.
as well. That's encouraging. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
It'll just be interesting, like especially if there's 2 people hosting. It's like, how do they go back and forth? It'll just be kind of without notice and in silence. They just all of a sudden switch because there's no one running like the media and no one hosting.
Yeah. So I'm sure it'll be like on their own YouTube pages, and then we can just kind of shuffle it around. I mean, in that sense, I think it's a really smart business decision if that's what, because really they're still going to get a similar thing, but they have no overhead costs, no organization, no media costs, nothing. So, I mean, from a business standpoint, I get it saves a lot of money. And, I mean, for us being, like we were talking about last week, just a fan of exercise racing and, like, really enjoying watching the best of the best throw down, it sounds like we're still going to be able to do that. So, I'm down with it.
It's good.
I'm down with it. This year I feel like every single week that we're going to have something to talk about in terms of things that we found out about the CrossFit season that we didn't know the week before.
That's true, yeah.
I think there's like 3 episodes in a row where we started about, now we know this, now we know that. And as the season's officially kind of kicking off with the Open, so I'm sure we'll have a lot more information coming out and come available.
So let's kick it off with how you would approach it if you're kind of in between, as maybe you're an athlete who you'll sometimes scale a workout in a group class, or in previous Opens you're kind of half and half scaling and RX. You kind of have a mix of both. I think, again, I haven't been around long enough to know, but like it seemed like last year they kind of threw in more what you would call advanced movements, like more than usual. So I don't know, I guess that's kind of an additional curveball that you now have to think about that maybe wasn't so much there in previous years.
Yeah, I think it's just the average CrossFit gym member gets more and more fit. The standard just seems to be raised. And I mean, obviously the top 1% or the top 0.5%, whatever it is now that the Open actually matters for. I'm not really sure what the exact math would be. I guess we'll have to see how many people register this year. The Open, like, placing doesn't really matter for anyone, but you're right. It's getting heavier. It's getting more skilled. It's very front heavy. Like, they're putting advanced gymnastics movements right at the start of workouts to really separate the field right away. Right. But like, there's a lot of different opinions, and I don't really think anyone is necessarily wrong in their thinking. I think it just depends on what their perspective is coming at it when I'm talking about like scaling or not scaling, because there's kind of two worlds of thought, I guess, on this topic. One being leaderboard focused and worrying about where you are on the worldwide leaderboard on the games website. Everyone knows to be higher on the leaderboard worldwide, if you do 1 rep in the RX workout, it automatically places you higher than if you got 1,000 reps in the scaled workout. So there's that. Then there's the other side where people may overscale just because they're searching for that higher intensity sweat workout,
right?
Instead of challenging themselves to push themselves to the highest of their abilities. So I think, like, for us coaching those classes, it's really about understanding the individual and their tendencies, and then trying to push them outside their comfort zone, because that's really what the Open's all about. It's 5 weeks of being uncomfortable and being challenged week in and week out, and hopefully achieving some things that you never thought you were going to be able to do, because that's a lot of fun. When that starts happening, like, people get their first whatever, toes to bar, double under, on the higher end, ring muscle up, or PR their snatch, or PR their clean. It's like, that's exciting. That's really, really exciting. It doesn't matter what the movement is. The first of anything, the reaction is always the same, and especially when it's in an environment like a CrossFit Open workout, where you got a little bit more of a buzz around the gym, like you've been thinking about the workout probably for days, maybe a few hours, but more than normally would. Normally, like, for our gym, we use Watify, so usually I'm sure people will, like, look the night before, but I wouldn't assume that the majority of people would be analyzing this workout and knowing, and like, oh, I'm going to split up this and this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to take this approach, and I'm going to eat this before, I'm going to do this to recover. I think it's just like, oh, that's the workout. Go to bed, wake up, and they do it. The Open there's so much strategizing, and there's a buzz on social media. You search all this stuff. It's just, I don't know. It's fun. I love it.
That's a good point. Yeah, the whole planning and analyzing thing.
Yeah.
And I think when you always kind of bring up sort of this idea that it's a little bit more fatiguing than usual, like going through something like the Open. And I think that's one of the reasons why is what you just said right there. Like, people fail to realize that all that thinking, and maybe it's a little bit of like stressing over it away from the gym. Like, that takes a toll on you. And so that's why when you hear people say, like, you kind of have to take care of your central nervous system, that type of thing, that's what they're talking about. It's because you have that added stress. And so that, like, over a few days, like, that can really beat you up. Yeah. I mean, if you've ever, everyone has at some point in their life, whether it be high school, college, university, if you go through a period of like exams, like you are absolutely dead afterwards. You may have done absolutely zero physical activity, but being at that heightened level for such a long period of time, like you'll just crash eventually. And that's the same thing here.
Yeah, totally. The mental stress, and then the anxiety about performance and everything else that comes into play with that.
Exactly.
And I mean, it's easy to say just have fun with open, but we all know that
people are competitive.
Competitive.
So it makes
by
it
nature.
fun.
Yeah, totally. The scaling thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I was going to ask you was, what's your opinion on, let's, for instance, use the example that you brought up, like it's a workout where they maybe have some front end heavy gymnastics, like maybe there's like one basic movement, I don't know, say it's like get through 50 wall balls, and then after that you're doing like ring muscle ups or something like that. So what do you think about someone, maybe they don't have the muscle ups, but of course they can do wall balls, so what do you think about, they do that RX and then whatever, they can't get to those ring muscle ups, but then maybe they just have like 10-15 minutes of trying to get that, so they do that, they have that workout, and then maybe they go back and do that workout scaled afterwards, even just as like you said, like to get that workout in, kind of see what they can do at the scaled level, but they have that RX score so that a year from now, 5 years from now, they can still go back and say like, oh yeah, like this is what I did.
Yeah, that's definitely a really common approach that a lot of people, I would call it kind of like bubble athletes, I guess, right? It's like hit or miss. Sometimes it's going to be RX, sometimes not. I mean, before I dive into that, I want to make a point that like, by the time you guys hear this, if you listen to it when we release it, we're like a week and a day outside of the start of the CrossFit Open. So you're not going to get more fit between now and then. But what you can do is you can work on skills, right? Because getting better at your skills doesn't require an increase in intensity or anything like that. It almost requires the opposite. It's dialing back and just focusing on the little things. Like if you're close, just work on that skill over and over again. Use all the resources. WOD Prep is top-notch resource. Put a little plug in there for Ben and WOD Prep because he's a top-of-the-line dude and his service is incredible. Basically, WOD Prep's business model is to take the group of scaled athletes and how to help them transcend themselves into the RX category with all the gymnastics movements. That's WOD Prep service that they provide, and they have amazing products to do that are paid, but they also have a whole library on YouTube of what do they call it?
It's an impressive lineup for sure.
Yeah, it's good. Something hacks. It's like troubleshooting, like certain fault fixer series. So it's like common faults that you would see in a toes bar, for example, like that death swing, things like that to help refine it. So WOD Prep is a good resource for that. If you're a bubble athlete and you're looking for some last minute tips and tricks that might get you to that next movement, that'd be something to check out.
And that's the not so sexy stuff that we easily neglect. But that's a hell of a point. Like if you're worried about muscle ups in the open, don't start doing pull-ups every day to try and get stronger.
Yeah.
If anything, stop doing them, and then like you said, take the time to, maybe do some video analysis. You break the movement down into different pieces, rewatch it, and then see what you can do to fix. And use a resource like that because it is unreal.
Yeah, and do some serious self-reflection of how close you actually are to that skill, right? If say ring muscle-ups is your goal, but you're struggling with strict pull-ups, then maybe that's not an appropriate goal for you for this year, right? And you gotta kind of check yourself and really come to terms with where you're at. But with that being said, if you're like super close, then maybe the Open's gonna be that time. It is a magical time of year for that. Going back to your question, just about you can do some of the workout RX. So say it starts with like wall balls and burpees, for example, like our Winter Classic qualifier does at West London. Movements that everybody can do if they do CrossFit. They, in some way, shape, or form, they're able to perform those movements. And then at the back end, there's ring muscle ups. So here is where the opinion thing comes in. For me, if the muscle up isn't even close, then why go through 90 reps of wall balls and burpees just to stand there underneath the rings and be like, I know I'm not even close.
Yeah.
I mean, the answer to why is leaderboard. But my question is that actually that important? Or would it be better for your fitness and just your mental health in general, not putting a stress on yourself, just to be like, you know what? I'm working on pull-ups still. Ring muscle-ups aren't something that's going to be a possibility for me for this year, for the spring 2019 Open. Because remember, we got another one coming up in the fall this year, which is super wicked. Maybe that's something that I can work on through the summer and get to be able to attempt some ring muscle-ups in the fall. But why not just go down to the scaled workout that probably has something like pull-ups or jumping pull-ups as some sort of scaled option, and go through the workout. Go through it as your prescribed workout, your scaled prescribed workout. Get a solid workout in, have a really good time. You get to submit a score online still, and you can still compare year to year how you're doing. Like if you go from doing, say you're a bubble athlete, you're going from doing 2 workouts scaled out of 5, right? Because some workouts come up and it's just grunt work. You're going to row, you're going to do thrusters, you're going to do burpees, you're going to do wall balls, you're going to do, box jump overs, dumbbell snatches. You're going to do the movements that everyone that does CrossFit has been taught them probably in their on-ramp program and have a really good grasp on those movements. So say 3 of them are like that. You do those ones as prescribed. You scale 2 because they're very gymnastics heavy and you just don't quite have those abilities yet. What about in the fall if you do only 1 scaled? What about if the Open, which is going to be a full year from the fall 2019 Open, so in the fall 2020, you do all the workouts RX. You track your progress that way. You're going to shoot, if your leaderboard's your focus, you shot up hundreds of thousands of positions because now you're an RX athlete, and that's just like next level. And in the moment, you're getting a workout in that is at the level that you're at, and you're able to put in a solid effort and feel good about what you've done. The opposite side of that is the leaderboard thing. Like I said, it's like you do 1 rep RX, and then you're up to leaderboard. There's going to be disagreements, but I don't know.
Great,
what's
that going to do for you?
Yeah, I would say that's fairly
that's
ego
pretty
driven.
good. I think that was the perfect assessment. Like when it's that movement that you may or may not have, just you have to be realistic with yourself. Like on a good day, do you have a chance of getting one? Well, if the answer is no, not even close, then I mean, what's the point? Like you said, yeah, that's a pretty good criteria.
Yeah, and if you've been working hard on them and you feel like you're close, go for it.
Yeah,
right. That's your time to go for it. And if you don't end up getting it, at least you got to put in some solid attempts at that movement. But to just stand there and be like, oh, well, I did my 1 rep RX. I'm just going to sit down on this box for the next 12 minutes while the rest of my friends that are doing the workout finish.
Yeah.
Or this is an opinion thing, and it's just a pet peeve of mine. It's like starting the workout RX and then switching to scaled. I'm like, again, it's just for the leaderboard, but it's like, is that really a reflection of your fitness? Like, I don't think so. Some people say yes. Some people, and I'm sure even some of the coaches at our gym will disagree with what I'm saying right now, which is totally fine. The difference of opinion is what, keeps the world spinning. It's all good. But for me, that would be my recommendation. Were you coaching last year?
Oh, no, I was just going to say this will be my first year coaching around the Open, so I'm going to have to kind of formulate my own opinions.
Yeah, because
it'll be a new experience.
It is sometimes tricky when you're dealing with emotions.
Yeah.
People can get very emotional, and I mean, it's our job to direct them and give them the best information possible, but at the end of the day, it's their decision what they're going to choose to do. So if I explain to somebody what I'm saying to you right now, and they're like, no, I disagree with you, I'd rather do 1 rep RX and work up to, like, who am I can't change it. It's not up to me.
Right.
That's their decision. And I disagree with him. Yeah, but does that really matter? Not really. It's an opinion thing, right? It's a difference of opinion. I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
If they're like, well, last year I was 150,000th in the world. This year I want to crack the top 100,000. I'm like, okay, all the power to you. Then those RX reps are going to make a difference for you if the leaderboard is your purpose. But I'm always looking at this like from a longevity standpoint and like trying to make yourself actually better year to year instead of trying to like manipulate numbers to make yourself look better on paper.
I think that was the key phrase there, is like actually improving yourself. Like you're getting better year to year. The leaderboard isn't necessarily a good indication of that, because obviously the things we just talked about, like you could do a few reps RX just to move up the leaderboard, but guess what? Like that doesn't mean that you got any better.
Right.
Maybe there was more people that year that, you know, decided to just stay scaled and actually do the whole workout. Like you don't know what's going on.
That's
like,
a bang on point right there. Just the sheer volume of people that are doing the workouts, RX or scaled, and then the sheer volume of people that are registering for the
that
open.
too, yeah.
It makes a big difference.
So, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, only you know whether or not you got better. So
yeah,
and maybe a few other people who see on the regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I think the big takeaways for people from the open is like, oh, last year I couldn't do a pull up. This year I can do a pull up. Last year I couldn't do a double under. This year I did 20. If it's a repeat workout, the last year it came up, I got this score. This year I got that score. Wow, what would I have placed in that year if I got that score? Like those are fun things to do, right? You retest a workout from 2014. Obviously, the people that are on the 2014 leaderboard are a hell of a lot more fit than they were in 2014. Everyone's raising the bar up higher and higher and higher. So is it a true indication of where you would have finished in 2014? Absolutely not. But it's kind of fun when you redo one. You're like, oh, man, I would have finished the top 100 in the region in that workout. Yeah. Or, oh, I would have beaten this person or that person in 2014. I mean, we know that that's not true because, like I said, they're obviously a lot more fit than they were in 2014 also. But it's a fun little game to play.
It is.
Leaderboarding's fun.
It's a good way to waste some time.
Yeah. Do you leaderboard?
Oh, yeah, I definitely did last year. So that was my first open, so I was that person who just thought about it all day long.
Yeah.
Like at school, how am I going to break this workout up tonight?
It's funny how it consumes so much of your thought. It's just a workout, but it takes over.
It's fun though.
Yeah.
What was I going to... Oh, so I think a little curveball this year, at least at our gym and a lot of gyms throughout London, I would say. So that's why I think we can talk about this, because it's not just exclusive to our gym. I know I like to think anyways that we have listeners outside of our gym throughout the rest of London, so I don't want to like totally restrict the conversation to that. Mm-hmm. But anyways, what I'm getting at is we have that London Affiliate Cup this year, which is the CrossFit competition basically between all of the affiliate gyms throughout London and region. Reason this is a little bit of a curveball this year in terms of the open and in regards to, you know, whether or not you're going to be the scaled athlete or the RX athlete, is because all of the gyms they're going to send people from each category to represent their gym. Mm-hmm. And so I think maybe if someone's on the bubble for representing their gym as a scaled athlete, then maybe they'll be a little bit more inclined to, you know, shy away from the RX movement. So it might even be a little bit opposite than what it normally is. Mm-hmm. Usually people want to, you know, dip their feet into the RX workout to try and get up the leaderboard, but maybe this year people are going to shy away from that to try and have more scaled workouts so that they can, you know, represent the gym in that category.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be another hot topic.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, we're using the open as our qualifier. So there's a coaches in RX and skill division. There's top two male and female from each division gets to represent Westland.
I should ask quickly, is it all the gyms are going to use that same kind of system, or is that just what we've decided on?
We left it entirely up to the affiliate to make it their own and choose their teams however they see fit. For us, we chose the open because it is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Right. You have 5 weeks to prove your fitness. If you're top two male, top two female in whatever category, then we'll invite you to represent our gym in the London Affiliate Cup. Obviously, you have the option to defer that invite. If you're like, no, I don't want to do that, then you for sure, there's no pressure to do that. We'll just go down to the third place person. So RX, I mean, you have to do all the workouts RX, because if you don't, then it's going to affect your placing to the point where you wouldn't be top 2. So that's our reason there. It's pretty clear cut. We're going with a minimum of 2 open workouts done scaled to represent the scaled team. The reason why it's not all 5 is because that's not the way the open's been set up in the past, right? There's always a few workouts that the majority of the people at the gym are able to do at RX, so it'd be unfortunate for us to pressure those people into doing the workout scaled, just as a hope to represent the gym, because obviously we want people to go to the highest level possible all the time. And we chose 2 just because if you're scaling 1, maybe it was just because you don't have ring muscle ups, right? Because that's a tough movement, or maybe you can't snatch 185.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenarios where you could end up with a scaled workout in there.
Yeah. And you're usually an RX athlete, right?
Totally. Like so 90% of the time, you could be an RX athlete, and then if they have that one movement in there.
Yeah. So that happens. So we gave 1 as like a mulligan. And if we think if you scale 2, then it's fair to say that you are indeed a scaled athlete.
Right.
Because our concern is having RX athletes just go scaled because they feel like they can dominate.
Yeah.
Or feel like they can win, right? And again, we don't have control over how the other affiliates go and choose their teams. But CrossFit and the community around CrossFit has a funny way of sorting that out. You know what I mean? Like, there's a little bit of a code, I would think, like an unwritten code.
People notice if you do that, and then you're a douche. Like
straight up, yeah, it's yucky, right?
So
like
good for you.
Yeah, if you're warming up, doing butterfly chest to bar pull-ups and muscle ups and snatching like a boss and overhead squatting perfectly, and they're like, oh, what division are you in? Oh, scale. It's like, what? Why? You're the worst, right? The problem with that is that the scaled athletes want an opportunity to compete on a level playing field, and you going down a level, I'm all for going up a level. You go up, you push yourself, you go up a level, cool. Good, because you're going in the right direction. If you go down just because you feel like you can win, it's gross. Don't do it. Quit CrossFit.
It's like someone
don't compete.
It's like testing positive for drugs. Like there's no difference really.
Exactly.
It's the exact same thing.
You're taking an advantage on those people, and what you're doing, you're robbing those scaled athletes of their opportunity to compete and have fun, and that's what competition's for. Especially something like the London Affiliate Cup. Obviously, people are competitive and they're gonna want to win. It's just, especially if they're choosing to do a competition like this where it's only a select few people can go. It's not an open registration sort of idea. That people want an even playing field to be able to compete at. And I mean, if you go down, like, ask yourself this also, like, would you be proud standing on top of the scaled podium knowing that you're not a scaled athlete? Or is everyone going to look at you up there and be like, you're the worst, second place is actually first?
Yeah.
Right? Like, because it's yucky. That's a big pet peeve of mine. You see it in a lot of local competitions, or just like the language around people signing up. They're like, oh, I could probably do the elite division, but I'm going to do the RX division because I kind of want to do well in this one. It's like, you're the worst. You're actually the worst. Because you're taking the place of somebody who isn't able to do elite. You're taking their spot away.
Yeah.
And then going from RX to scale is even worse.
Not even that. It's just like, I mean, if that's your mindset going into that, then that just tells me that, I don't know, if you just have this shitty ass mindset for the rest of life, and you're probably oftentimes a waste of space. I mean, it's kind of that simple to me. Like,
well said. Yeah.
I mean, don't need to complicate it.
Mm-mm. Yeah, for sure. So that's how we're picking teams. But like, there was talk about just like, well, we kind of know just from results in Wodify and assessment results, and the Winter Classic is coming up. Will have already passed by the time you guys listen to this, which is our just in-house fun competition. We try to do one every season, so this one's the one for the winter time. So we have like an idea, but schoolyard picking teams always makes me feel a little bit yucky because there's no chance for that person to prove themselves able to represent that team, right? I feel like a lot of people get a lot of pride out of just being like qualifying, but being picked, there's always going to be that like side eye, like, from other people.
Yeah, you got to have some type of elimination system for sure.
Yeah.
Leave it, kind of at the end of the day, leave it to, I mean, you control your own destiny is what it comes down to.
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah, and takes emotion out of it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're not picking you because we like you more.
Yeah.
Like, we're not picking you because we think you're more fit. It's like, this is where you were. This is where this other person was.
Bro, what about that check I slid you behind the table?
Yeah. We're going to turn to the next FIFA. Just taking bribes.
That's something else.
Yeah. So that's going to be fun. I mean, it's the first year doing it. Our goal, like Westland and CrossFit is hosting it, and we kind of came up with the concept. I'm sure we're not the first ones to have thought about it. It's just more of the logistics thing, like how would it go down. So we just kind of, I mean, it's the first year of anything. We're winging it, right? Like we got the structure set up and the idea, but the hope is for next year to have a different affiliate pick it up, right? And they host it, they program it, right? Like for this year, I'm doing the programming for the event. So people might say, oh, well, he can write it because he can make it fit his group. Yeah. It's like, well, I mean, it's proven time and time again. It doesn't matter what the programming is. The most fit person wins.
Yeah.
Every single time. Like, why does Matt Fraser always win? Why has Sam Briggs won 2 sanctional events with different programming? Right? Why did James Newbury win the Australian Championship the next weekend, go to South Africa and finish second? Right?
Which is pretty damn impressive, by the way.
Yeah, that is bananas.
Like, people don't. Yeah, that's insane. Like when you consider even when you think about what flying does to you, like flying fucks you up.
Yeah.
And I don't know how far that flight would be, but I would imagine it's long enough where you'd be feeling it for at least the next day or so. Yeah. So that's extra recovery.
And I think the Australian CrossFit Championship went till Sunday, and Cape Town started on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Wow. Like those are multi-day. They're very games like these sanctional events are turned into that.
Feeling it.
Right, you got like long swims and runs and like obstacle courses and stuff that really beats down your body. You got CrossFit style workouts. You got strength workouts. You got like multi-day competitions. Not like 2 days. Like we're talking 4-day, 3-day competitions. That takes a toll on you, big time.
I was gonna ask you I believe it might have been Wadapalooza. I'm not sure, but someone brought up that same argument at one of these recent sanctioned events that there was athletes there whose coaches had done most of the programming. I'm assuming it was like Ben Bergeron.
Oh yeah.
Was that in Miami?
Yeah. Yeah, so basically just like they did with the online qualifier, they had like DECA comp. They had comp train.
Oh, so it was kind of a competition of a combination of a few different coaches that came together.
Yeah. So in the qualifier, each week, like a different company was responsible for writing the programming. Yeah. And then same with Wadapalooza, they outsourced it and used these people to program it. So, yeah, I heard that too, and it's so ridiculous. Like, so Michelle Latondra coaches Pat Vellner, right? And
he ended up winning.
Latondra works. I think she owns DECA. So people are saying, oh, he won because his coach did the program. You're like, okay, you program it then. Pat Vellner's still going to win.
Yeah, well, that's the funny part. It's like, okay, well, then who are you going to get to program these workouts for the top athletes in the world? Like Joe Schmo from the local gym?
Exactly.
I mean, we all know how that goes. Like, people end up trying to make up new movements, and then it becomes about them. It's like, all right, this is my time to shine as the next big coach.
Yeah, stealing the show, right? Taking the spotlight off. But again, you go Joe Schmo, here, write the programming for Wadapalooza weekend, results the same.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
I mean, there's things here and there where some people excel, some people don't, but those events are all so different in nature. There's so many different combinations of movements and time domains and just the toll of recovering on the weekend, which is something that we're going to talk about probably in a couple minutes here, I guess, about just recovering from a long day of competition. But like, he's still going to win. If Matt Fraser went to Wadapalooza, he would have won.
Oh yeah.
Like, people might not like saying that because, I mean, Pat Vellner is some people's boy, and I love Pat Vellner. However, Matt Fraser is the fittest in the world for a reason. Like, he goes to competitions and he wins. It's just, that's what he does.
I can't even think of a scenario where, so like just being as Latondra was doing the programming, like what would she have to program in order for Vellner to win that event over, that competition over Fraser? Like, it would have to be, I don't even know what you'd do. What's he real good at?
I mean, he's good at everything.
Like, maybe just like 10 events with walking on your hands, but even then, who knows?
Yeah. Right? Like,
it's
impossible to rig it like that.
Yeah, you can't.
Now, do I think that Pat has a chance at the games to beat Fraser? Yeah. All of them have. Anyone who qualifies for the CrossFit Games is fit enough that they could potentially win.
At that point, it has to be like enough people coming in between them, like in enough events to actually create some separation.
Exactly.
Not just like, you beat him, but he was the next place behind you. Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Now, I haven't done this, but I'm curious. Like, Pat Vellner really struggled the first event, the last two CrossFit Games, like a 30-somethingth place.
If that didn't happen, what his tally would be?
I'm just curious.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
The 1 year, Matt Fraser literally just had to do the last event in order to win, right? He had to do the minimum work requirement, and he was fine. But it's a little bit tighter. Mm-hmm. I don't know. How does it make a difference? And then there's so many different factors after that, too. Like, you have a better finish on event 1. Are you more confident or too comfortable after doing well, right? Like, Pat Vellner sees himself in 35th after event 1. That's got to have a little fire burning in his gut. And I mean, these guys are professionals. That's why we watch them exercise. They don't watch us exercise, right? They're the professionals. They're professional in their training. They're professional in their approach. They're professional in their mindset. And that's why they are where they're at, along with their amazing ability to do anything fitness related, right? There's so many different factors, but I mean,
in terms of just like, even just like it's how he approaches like the CrossFit Games, but you can tell that he applies this to like his everyday life. Like watching Vellner, like in between events or after he has a shit showing or like whatever it is, like I really like watching him during those scenarios because it kind of it really puts things into perspective in a way for you. Because I don't know, I just like, you see some athletes that something gets to them or they respond in not a very healthy way, and you just kind of go like, like he probably shouldn't have done that. I get it, it's competition, but still. And then you see someone like Vellner who it's just like, you said it, like professional. That's absolutely the word to describe him, like not only in terms of his athletic ability, but how he's actually dealing with everything else. I think that's another thing that separates professional athletes that people often forget about. Like, you could look at any sport, like if you look at how they deal with like an interview or how they deal with like a big situation in the media, like
right.
The best ones are able to deal with those scenarios, with composure and positivity, and that's like him to a T in my opinion. So I definitely kind of like admire his ability to do that. I mean, the guy's a fucking full-time chiropractor.
Yeah, I mean, it's
He's
not like
done
he has
all this while being
all
in
day.
chiropractor school.
Yeah, it's incredible to have that sort of commitment.
Yeah, so that
focus.
And I mean, so Fraser did the same thing too. So I don't want to like knock him. Like, he was in school and he was getting second in the world. So
yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, everybody has their things. It's awesome to watch. Just with that point, I was listening to a press conference this morning just for the upcoming UFC fights, and there was a little bit of like a scuffle backstage that was off camera. Nobody saw it or anything like that, but the response from the guy who kind of got rushed backstage was this. He's like, "Oh, I'm fine. I'm conserving my energy for the fight."
Yeah,
right? Like,
great.
He's keeping himself level, and I think that's what these guys do so well, is that they're just they're conserving energy, like exploding and getting stressed out and mad and throwing something or making a scene, pouting, like all this stuff. It takes away from your energy stores, and it increases what we were talking about at the very beginning of this. That mental stress is what takes a toll on you over time. If you can regulate that and just be in check and like almost like perform, let it go, and just perform the best that you can every single time. That's a huge competitive advantage that you're giving yourself if you can do that.
Totally. And like, just to help people imagine that, like if you prick your finger and measure your blood glucose when you're cool, calm, and collected, it's going to be significantly lower. I mean, I don't know what a good number is to give you. It might be at like 80 or something. The number doesn't matter, but it's going to be low. And then if you prick your finger after you have a blow up like that, it's going to be through the roof. Oh yeah. Like you're actually responding to that. Or like, you know, it'll skyrocket if you like get pissed off at someone in traffic, or if you hate checking your emails, it'll go up when you're checking your emails. Like we know these things. So like it is negatively affecting you.
That's cool.
Like not just kind of, you know, oh, my psyche's off, like my mental game is off. Like it's actually, like you said, it's going to burn you out and eat up your energy reserves more than you know. So that stuff does matter.
So you get stressed out like that, your body will release energy basically.
Well, because it thinks that we're in danger. So it's like, shit, we got to like jack this guy up.
Damn.
But if you do that too much, well, guess what? You're going to run out of energy for the next event. So like that is a real thing.
Okay, so the science is there too.
Yeah.
It's not just me talking on my butt. Chet's got the science to back me up all the time.
Well, and that's why we see people emphasize, people who know what they're talking about. Like that's why we see people emphasize recovery so much.
Yeah.
At these events, or, you know, professional athletes in general, like it's something that it's easy for us to shrug off because I guess, I don't know why, I guess it's hard for us to kind of imagine what that has to do with it. Like, like why does it matter if I don't know, why does it matter if I'm just relaxing in almost like a mindfulness or meditative state in between events or in between games, as opposed to like out, I don't know, hanging out with friends and I don't know what another good example would be, but
yeah, I hear you. I've seen it a lot coaching at the higher level competitions. So coaching at like regionals, Granite Games, Wadapalooza, and watching the athletes that win or do well. They do their event and it's like, that's it. They're sitting down. They got a towel or something over their face. They're laying down on their backpack. They're completely as like baseline chill as possible until they need to warm up for the next event. When they're finished at the venue, obviously I didn't follow them around because I'm not weird, but I'm assuming they went from the venue to wherever they were staying and they started their recovery practices, whatever those were, stretching, refueling, rehydrating, meditating, whatever their routine is. I guarantee they did it. They went to bed when they said they were going to go to bed. They weren't on Instagram, right? Like
it's all these things. Yep.
Stories of them out for dinner with their friends or something like that, and the next day they went in and it's because they're the people that are winning these high level events. They're professionals. This is what they do, and they treat events like this like they're going to work. We were talking about this at the gym the other day when Matt Fraser was talking about, I work 6 days a week. Yeah. Or 6 days a year, sorry. 6 days a year, right? So when he's at the CrossFit Games, don't ask him for anything. He's not there for you. He's there to win the CrossFit Games. That's his job, and that's his goal, right? So if you want to talk to him afterwards and interview him or whatever, he's down. But like, he's not going to be going out for dinner, signing autographs, shaking hands, kissing babies when he knows he's got to get up at 5 o'clock the next morning to go to the next event. That's a big separator. That's a mental game.
I know I used to, like, growing up playing hockey, I would hear this a lot from coaches, and at the time, and I don't know if they even realize it when they're saying it, but it's like, just to give you an example, if you have like this massive game coming up, like we hosted, when I played junior hockey in Stratford, we hosted like the Hockey Day in Canada game. Oh, cool. It's like Don Cherry was there, Rob McLean was there. We knew it was going to be like packed house. Like it was a massive event, and just as an example, like there was so many others, games just like this throughout your career. But anyways, it's like you kind of show up at the rink, and one of the first things the coaches say is like, like just try to calm down. Like don't get too excited for this game right away. And you're like, what do you mean? Like I'm fired up, I'm ready to go. What's the problem? Let's do it. Well, it's like you're gonna burn yourself out, wear yourself out. Like just tone it down for a bit. Try and stay calm and even keel, and then once it actually starts, okay, now you can get all amped up.
Yeah.
So we hear it kind of, you know, growing up, even if you've played in some different sports and whatnot, but it kind of the rationale behind it, we just forget about, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think you could apply that to everyday life too, right? Like if you know, for work, maybe you have, if part of your job is to give presentations in front of people or something, if you are, whether you're anxious or on the other hand excited for that, same thing. Like I think you're gonna have more success if you just kind of keep it like calm, cool, and collected until that actually rolls around.
Yeah, I think that's why Stoic philosophy is so big right now, because that's their whole premise is basically staying as baseline as possible.
Right.
Never getting too worried or too excited. Like when things go well, don't overboast and get too consumed in that. When things are going poorly, don't overanalyze it. Just let it be and kind of move on. It's a beautiful idea. It's hard practice. It takes a lot of practice to be able to do that for sure. And that's why the people that are the best at that perform the best. For sure. Yeah.
It's interesting though. I think it can have a ton of benefits in like a whole number of different realms. Like it's not just for the sports or the athletic competitions. It's like what we just talked about. It's like, you know, your work or your relationships, or just in terms of like overall health and longevity. Like if you can stay calm more often than not and not get too high, not get too low, I think you're going to be in good shape for everything you do.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. Let's talk about recovering.
On that note.
Yeah, because I mean, with the open, there's a chance that some people may elect to redo workouts. Again, it's a very much an opinion-based thing whether or not a redo is worth it or not. It's going to be a situation-to-situation approach for sure. I think it's hard to blanket it. So it's hard to say. Like, I don't want to say don't do redos. I don't want to say everyone should do redos, because that's not the case. I mean, we don't even know what the workouts are.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's another thing too. Just before we get into this, is this week it's been, since the Open's coming and we're starting to like pump it up a little bit to get people to register. Yep. People are like, well, what am I going to do if I'm a scaled athlete? I'm like, well, you don't even know if you are yet, right? Like you don't even know what the workouts are. So let's wait. Let's go on a week-to-week approach. Week 1, where am I at? Okay.
Yeah, your game plan shouldn't change.
Yeah.
Until then.
Yeah, just hang tight.
Yeah.
Anyway, recovery between. So say you're going to do the workout on Friday, and then you're going to do it again on Sunday. Or our Winter Classic event this Saturday is going to be a longer day than a lot of people are used to exercising for, with rest in between workouts and just the excitement of, you know, being in an in-house competition. So, like, what would be your recommendations for?
I'll use the example first of maybe an open workout on a Friday and then you end up redoing it on the Sunday.
Okay.
You'd essentially do like almost like a carb load the Friday night after the event. And that's, again, when I say this, that doesn't mean a bunch of cheat meals. Like, that's not the same. Like, a refeed is not the same as a cheat day or a cheat meal.
I can't eat 2 tubs of Ben & Jerry's after
so let's just establish that first. We don't need to go into the details as to why that is now.
Give people an inch, they'll take a mile, man.
Exactly, yeah. So let's just get that out of the way. But your priority afterwards would be these fast-absorbing carbohydrates, always paired with protein. So like some simple examples would be like a steak with a baked potato and yeah, absolutely have like, you know, like some a baguette or something on the side, like something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe you have another meal that's like some chicken with, you know, white rice and beets, and I don't know, maybe then for quote-unquote dessert you have like a whatever the hell you want, like a small serving of ice cream or something like that.
Yeah.
That's not to say like, oh, I thought you said I can't eat ice cream, so I can eat a tub. Well, no, like moderation here.
Yeah.
But like the key takeaway there is you want like those fast absorbing carbohydrates, but always have the protein alongside it. Because if you don't have the protein alongside it, well, I mean, one, you're not going to repair muscle as well, but two, you're just going to overeat a pile of carbs and then you're going to feel like garbage.
Yeah, you wake up, I've made that mistake before, just like heavy on the carbs and neglecting the protein. You wake up the next morning, you're inflamed.
Yeah.
And you feel terrible.
Yeah.
You feel hungover.
For sure. You can definitely go the other way.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
Usually wait until like the last day of a competition to do that.
Yeah.
Go overboard knowing what I'm doing to myself, and then it's like,
so that's a different story. And then, so Saturday rolls around. I actually like maybe extending the time a little bit into Saturday morning before you have the first meal. And I know that probably sounds a little bit counterintuitive, but again, we've talked about this before. We know that there's a lot of benefits that take place when you go without food. You've already eaten, you've already replenished those glycogen stores. Like the reason you have the carbo load in there is because so early, like Friday night as opposed to Saturday night, it's because glycogen synthesis, like the time it takes for those carbs to actually be stored in your muscles as energy, that takes a long ass time, like at least 24 hours. So meaning if you wait until the Saturday to do that carb load and you're redoing it Sunday, well then it's not even really going to be that much beneficial to you.
Okay.
So you get that in early. Saturday, maybe go a little bit of time without food. I don't mean a long time, like at least 12 hours. Because then at least you're getting some of like the reduction in inflammation, so that's going to help you repair, will help with the muscle soreness. Again, we've talked about this, like the overnight thing. If you're in a little bit of a fast overnight, so maybe you end that carb load earlier in the evening, you're going to get more growth hormone when you sleep. All these things that are just going to regulate your hormones better, and that's going to ultimately improve your recovery. So, and why not the carbs first thing in the morning? Again, because you already replenished those stores, so why not get some of the benefits of these anti-inflammatory effects? Because too many, again, it's moderation, like too many carbs can be a bad thing. Like if you're jacking up insulin with a pile of carbohydrates, well then that can also, promote inflammation a little bit. So it's kind of like this fine balancing act. And then, I mean, Saturday come lunchtime, you kind of just return to like baseline, you could call it. Ideally, you'd get like some fats and proteins in at lunch, and then like towards dinner, you just kind of go back to your whatever. I like the idea of like a steak and a baked potato and kind of the keg setup. That's my favorite, but that's just my personal preference. And then Sunday, you're ready to go.
Cool.
I mean, that's just the food thing. We could talk about a bunch of other things like supplements, cold tubs, hot tubs, breathing routines, mobility, but that's kind of like
from a food standpoint,
the basics there, I would say.
I can keep it easy for like if you're looking to go to the gym or do something, that recovery is going to start pretty much immediately once you finish the open workout. You can rest as long as you need to, but then before you leave the gym, you got to get on a bike for 20 minutes.
For sure.
And it can't be less than that. Okay, you have to be, and then like you don't have to go fast. Literally, just move your body. You were talking, I think, last week about the lymphatic system and how dependent it is on movement, right? We got to get our bodies moving in order to keep that pump pumping, basically. Flush out all that stuff. And then before you leave the gym, you definitely, if you know you're going to be redoing the workout, especially, you really need to focus in on those body parts that have been beat up that day and repair them as much as possible. Anything from like your hands, if it's a really grip dominant workout, to your quads, to the bottom of your feet. Like you have to do, you have to take care of yourself. And then Saturday, you need to move. Don't sit at home all day and rest saying, I got to do that again tomorrow. I'm just going to take it easy today. That will be the biggest mistake of your life. You're going to come into the gym on Sunday and you're going to be flat. You're going to have no gas. You don't have to go to the gym and try to PR your back squat by any means, right? Like just go and do some sort of flow movement.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Bike, ski,
break up
run,
some tissue, whatever.
Yeah, bear crawls.
Yeah.
Isometric holds for, very submaximal times.
Even if it feels hard as shit, that always makes a difference.
Yeah.
Like it's just getting that blood flow in there.
Yeah, Saturday, the first 5 minutes of whatever you're doing is going to feel terrible.
Yeah.
But once you break through, you know, you get that runner's high that everyone talks about. You'll feel way better. And try to do that. I would recommend, with your recommendation of, you know, holding off that first meal for a little bit, try to do that exercise before that first meal. You're going to feel even better.
Totally.
For sure.
I agree.
But then your eating window and your recovery window is just for that. You've already done your recovery work. Then if you want to do some extra mobility, stretching, cold showers.
Yeah, that's certainly never going to hurt.
Things like that will help. And then Sunday you're going to need a long warm-up, longer than you want to, before you redo that workout, longer than the warm-up you had on Friday. And, I mean, try to have fun on Saturday too, right? Like, don't, it's just so open. Don't lock yourself in your room and with your computer and leaderboard, and you can do that stuff because I'm totally with you. I love leaderboarding. It's so much fun. I love seeing where my friends are at and how they're doing. I like texting people and be like, hey, how'd you do on that? See if I got them, see if they got me.
It's just what
you're having fun.
What's your mindset behind it?
Yeah, it's the approach to that, right? I'm not, if you're doing it like in a like a sneaky way, like you're trying, you know, we all know what I'm talking about. There's a different intentions by doing that, and if you're doing it from a fun standpoint and not taking it personal, then.
So if you're gonna do it, have a beer as well while you do it or something.
Yeah.
A glass of wine.
Yeah.
Some CBD or something.
Yeah. It's not gonna hurt. It's not gonna hurt.
Yeah, that's a whole separate story that we could probably talk about for an entire podcast is, okay, so what supplements do I use during my competition and in between events? So if you guys have any questions about that, let us know.
Yeah.
We should do a CBD podcast sometime, I think.
Yeah.
Seems to be getting more and more popular, especially in the CrossFit world.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if we just educate people on that, that'd be a good thing.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
And
probably a good one to have a guest on too.
Yep.
Got some people in the cannabis industry that we can bring on to
that'd be cool.
Give us that perspective. Yeah. Cool.
All right.
We're running out of time again.
Yep.
We got some great feedback from last week's episode already, and I think it's only been out for like 5 hours right now, so I appreciate that. All the support. I'm starting to get messages from people we don't know about the podcast, which is a little bit weird, but fun at the same time.
It is fun.
Reach is getting out there.
Yeah, and if you're one of those people and you think you have something like that to contribute that you want to get out there, let us know. We're always looking for guests to have on here.
Yeah, for sure. We've only had one so far. We got a bucket list
for sure.
Yeah. So we'll get some people on. Keep an eye on Instagram. Our questions when we post that in our story, it's we really try to answer all of them, because obviously that's stuff that you guys want to hear.
Yep.
And then if you guys can share these episodes on your social media, whatever it is, like in your story on Instagram, or just share the link on Facebook or something, that really helps us out a lot.
Because if you like it, maybe someone else will.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the word out, bring some clarity to some misconceptions, and give you some sort of information that you can apply.
Agreed.
All right. Shut her down.
Enjoy your ice day.
Yeah.
Enjoy your 1 week after ice day.
Yeah, whatever you're doing, wherever you are. Hopefully it's not still icy.
True.
All right. Peace.